What's going on? Once again, this is my show. I am just saying, or I'm just saying, it's your boy Cavi on the mic again. Got my man right here, a guest, not a local. He is absolutely from Birmingham, Alabama, Mr. Victor Vincent. And how you doing today, brother? Vic, I think your mic is off.
I'm outstanding, brother. How you doing today, man?
Okay. I'm doing wonderful, man. Doing wonderful, man. I just wanted to get up with you. We've been talking about getting up on a platform together for a while now and doing some work together. And I'm so glad today that you accepted that and came on. I'll definitely come on yours and join yours. And that way we can have some dope dialogues on your side as well. So, Vic, I got a
Yes.
couple of things right here I just want to ask you about. So, like I said, I just want to give a brief, summary of who you are. You are the owner operator of Accountable Masculinity. You have written 3 books, all available on Amazon. I will show those books later on this podcast. And like I said, from Birmingham, Alabama. Accountable Masculinity. What is that about? Tell me what that's about right there, brother.
Oh man, it's well, number one, I appreciate you having me on the show.
Okay.
Um Accountable masculinity is a neutral type of it's a lifestyle about being disciplined and accountable as a man.
Okay.
Um it it aims at destroying the negative narratives about
Mhm.
what is associated with masculinity. So in the past, you hear people talk about the popular tropes of masculinity being used as being toxic. So, and everybody's debunked that in their own type of way. So this is just like my way of debunking it. And accountable masculinity requires discipline in order to be accountable. You know, I think a lot of people talk about accountability and don't have the discipline to even discuss it. So they're doing more performing than anything. So this book is just a philosophy of my approach to how I live my life and how it can help others. All of us need somebody that can give us a good example, and instead of waiting on somebody to give you an example, I think you know enough now to be the example.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a short summary of what accountable masculinity is. Okay,
That's
I
correct.
got you. So, so when you say discipline when it comes to men, what are some of the disciplines that you feel like hold men back? And also, is this for a specific race of men? Is this for black men, white men, all men, or what?
Is gender and race neutral. Like
Hmm.
none of it has anything to do with race, creed, color, or religion,
Okay.
because the general accepted
Hmm.
reality is that no society that's healthy and functional is without accountable men running it.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's the only way you can respect a place. Like, um, name a place that's fully functioning that doesn't have accountable men behind the controls.
I can't name a place. Yeah, I can't name a place that doesn't have that. I think before we had spoken backstage where I pretty much said if you look at the most powerful nations and the most powerful people, you'll find the most disciplined type of men is what you
Yep.
will find, and vice versa. Especially when you have a group of people and a nation of people that are very weak, you'll find undisciplined men. So I do definitely get that. Like I said, what are some of the disciplines that you are talking about here?
Okay, so I'll start with rule number 5, which I
Hmm.
think is the most impactful and the most important,
Hmm.
because the thing that you got the most access to is
Hmm.
what you have to balance. You know what I'm saying? You have to have some self-control. That's what discipline is, about self-control, right?
Right.
The most impactful one is sexual discipline. That's where a lot of our problems come from. All of our hot button topics,
Mhm.
everything that trends pivots off of who's sleeping with who made
Right,
babies with who
right,
molested who,
right.
who's involved in the worst misconduct possible. And generally speaking, the worst misconduct possible morally is who you impact sexually.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So now, when it comes to the sexual discipline right here, I'm a person that has always expressed, um, and we're going to talk about. our people right here. I know that you said that your platform stands for it has no race, issue with it or anything like that. But I'm going
Correct.
to talk about our people.
Let's do
So when
that.
I talk about our people, right, and I see a lot of families really destroyed and a lot of single family units and things like that. What you find once the stories get told is you find that there have been a whole lot of undisciplined men, sexually undisciplined men, that cause those type of issues. And I see that the nation has fallen quite a bit because of that. So I do see the importance of being unsexual or sexually undisciplined as black men. It is definitely important. It's definitely something that we have to work on, right? Um, so do you agree in what I'm saying there? Do you agree with maybe the black family or the black unit has been kind of let down by the sexual undiscipline of men or of black men?
Yeah, I think it's like far as this portion is concerned, like yeah, let's just speak about the men in general right now.
Okay, right.
Like my platform also, even though it's called Accountable Masculinity, you guys might see content that's aimed at women.
Hmm.
But the most important thing that I'm talking about is holding men accountable for the decisions that they make.
Okay.
The equity that men have in a situation is no different than the equity that the women have in a situation.
Okay.
So let me break that down, right? The worst men, the most undisciplined men are the problem.
Okay.
So now the other half of this discussion, we'll get to that.
Hmm.
But um the worst men are the problem. That's what we're talking about. People that can't arrest their nature, people that have been trusted with certain leadership uh, responsibilities. Now, the evaluation skills of the woman that chose these men, that's another discussion
Absolutely.
because you can't have one without the other.
Right, right, right.
Because like even under the premise of the best intention, some men still gonna be devious, right?
Hmm.
And so anything that excludes like crimes and stuff like that, that's different, you know. But in this situation, what we're talking about, the men, I
Hmm.
guarantee you, if you did your homework and you backtracked and you analyzed and you drew link charts from this person to this person,
Hmm.
so connected the dots, you'll find
Hmm.
out that most of these men that engage in these negative sexual acts that taint the rest of the images of men usually come from single mothers.
Oh,
And the women
okay.
that they target come from the same household because, like, think about it, right? If you're raised in a two-parent household,
Hmm.
are you going to be more attracted to somebody else that was raised in a two-parent household or somebody else raised in a single-parent household?
You know,
Think about
I,
it.
okay, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.
Well, yeah,
So when it comes to attraction, you use the word attraction, and it comes to attraction, it's not really when it comes to attraction. Am I thinking, okay, this woman that I'm about to marry or this woman that I'm attracted to, is she from a single family home or is she from a dual family home, right? That's not the first question that I'm asking,
it's
or
not
that's
the
not really
question.
the first thing that I'm even thinking about. I'm talking to this woman and I'm listening to how she's presenting herself. And from there, that's where I gauge whether I'm going to pursue or not. It's really nothing to do with the single or the dual family household. Um, so I really don't see that. I can't say that I will pick a woman off of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how long have you been with your wife?
My wife, I've been with my wife, let's see, yeah, it's going on 7 years now.
Okay, last time you dated?
Last time I dated, well, probably about 8, 9 years ago, probably.
Yeah, because like you might have got with her, and then y'all might have dated for a period of time before you actually got married. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You might have been
Right,
done
right,
dating then too.
right.
So, but my point is that we talk about the unconscious and the subconscious. Okay, like you might be naturally like earlier backstage, you said your wife
Right.
came from a two-parent home, right?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
So you still ended up being attracted to a woman that you married that came from a two-parent home.
That's correct. Yes.
It
Yep.
doesn't matter what you said or what she responded to.
Right.
The things that innately allowed you to put a ring on her finger,
Hmm.
start your family with her,
Hmm.
still came back to the way that she conducted herself behavior wise. See,
Right.
the
Correct.
behavior and the way that she craft, the way that she expresses herself to you comes from the environment in which she was raised. You can't
Hmm.
refute it.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because
Okay.
like up until a certain point in your life,
Mm-hmm.
You do whatever your parents tell you to do, which however many you got, one or two.
I got two.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, if you got
Right.
one parent, you do exactly what that one parent tells you to do.
Right. Right. Right.
And you can only operate in the world until you get new information off the information that you were raised with.
Okay. Okay.
So the game that your wife's father and mother gave her allowed
Mm-hmm.
her to recognize that you could provide and protect for her
Mm-hmm.
and raise a family with.
Okay.
Because there was conversations that you were never privy to that she was. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That allowed her to vet and evaluate you too. So
Mm-hmm.
that game right there that allowed her to connect with you
Mm-hmm.
came from the presence of seeing her mom and dad interact with each other.
Right. Okay. Okay. I get what you're saying. I
Bingo.
definitely get what you're saying on that. So just wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to this Facebook user here. I don't know exactly what their name is. Don't know why it's saying Facebook user, but it says depends on what your attraction is leading to. If you want to clap cheeks, that doesn't matter. But for relationship, yes, it matters if you come from a household with two parents.
Bingo.
Okay, so you do have a person that's definitely agreeing with what you're saying. I'm not saying that I don't agree with what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. So when we talk about people coming from single parent families, okay, or single parent households, there is a difference in there has been studies when pertaining to this right here. There is a difference between a single parent household that's led by a mother and a single parent household that's led by a father. Are we talking about single parent households that's led by mothers or fathers or both?
Um, I would say in this particular situation, I'm talking about the mothers right now.
Okay, so you talk about the mothers
Yeah,
right
like
now.
because like if we're gonna talk about the men being accountable, we got to talk about who's raising them.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
So like if we switch it, I know some men that are single fathers,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't they women are still gonna have their own experiences with men, no matter who's raising them. You know what I'm saying?
Right, 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 right.
And
Mhm.
men are gonna have their own experiences with women, no matter who's raising them too. So that's kind
Right.
of case by case basis. But the wider swath of what we think the problem is the single mother format.
Okay.
Because if you look at the inmate population, which is metrics, 80-90% of those men are raised in what type of home?
A single mother, yeah, single family houses led by women. I
Yep.
get that. Okay, so also when you
And
look
all
at statistics,
and
go
the
ahead.
other thing is too,
Yeah.
the only thing we can grade people off of is their children.
Okay. Okay.
You could say you was the greatest parent in the world, but if you raised two serial killers, were you really that good? It, it,
Uh, yeah, I understand that.
all right. if
I
you
understand that.
if you come from a long line of pedophiles and abusive people, and is that family special?
Okay.
We got to start
So
looking at the children.
me and my bro were talking about this exact subject last night, and we're talking about single mothers, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so single mothers. He came out and he said, "Well, Kavik, these single mothers are single mothers because of life decisions." I said, "Okay, I get what you're saying. Life decisions, I get that." I said, "But here's the thing. This is what we don't see as men, and it's just a simple fact, right? So some women go into a situation and they meet a guy, meet a fellow, and this fellow represents the best of himself. You know what I'm saying?
got
They
it.
represent the best of themselves. And after years of that fellow represents the best of himself, those deep dog skeletons start coming out. You feel what I'm saying? And this is either whether the woman is married or unmarried. I've seen this situation happen with married women and unmarried women, right? So
Mhm.
the married women who had the ceremony, got married, put it on document, hey, we're married. After a couple years, man just falls off and you find out who he really is, and then that turns you into a single parent. Is that the fault of the woman?
No, I
Okay.
think that's just the nature of who's connected to who. See, what we don't do very well is vet.
Okay. Okay, right. Right.
Okay, how do you vet?
Hmm.
Like, think about it, right? You got
Hmm.
girls, right?
Right, of course.
So let's go to the future. How old are
Hmm.
your girls?
I got one girl. So my one girl is 3 years old.
She
Yeah.
3 years old.
Hmm.
So let's go to adult scenarios, right?
Hmm.
We're gonna fast forward 10 years. Well, not 10
Okay.
years. No, 20 years. We're gonna just say it's 23, right?
23 years old. Okay.
All right. she just finished college or whatever she's doing, and she gotten to a point where she's been, you know what I'm saying, spending her time and been invested in this one particular guy. She said,
Right.
Dad, I want to marry him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And she gonna come ask your permission first, because you there.
Right. 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 Right.
If
Hmm.
she don't, you know what I'm saying, that's something else. But we talking about utopia in the best scenario where you've done your job as a father to be like,
Right.
hey, Dad, this is the guy I want. Now think
Hmm.
about how many. Now take you out of the picture. How do they
Hmm.
vet?
If you take me out of the picture, the only way that you could vet would be the mother. That would be it, which would be my wife. That would be the only way that you would be able to vet that,
Yeah.
or she would have to vet that person herself, not really having the experience in knowing what a good man or upright man is supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Hmm.
So now that we got that realistically formatted, right?
Right.
Take you out of it, change the
Hmm.
faces on it, and bring that back to the question that you just asked, right?
Yeah.
The woman, yeah, she chose him. That's fine.
Right. Hmm.
But who did she choose? She
Hmm.
probably chose a guy. She came
Hmm.
from, in this scenario. Are you saying that the woman came from a single parent household?
In this scenario, I've seen it happen to both. I've seen it
Oh,
happen to single parent household, women who came out of single parent households, and women who came out of dual parent households as well.
I guarantee you, in most of those cases,
Hmm.
one of the persons came from a single parent household.
Oh, of course. So I just mentioned that. Yeah, some of them did come
and
from single parent
and
households.
and that's my point. So like, if the woman who had trusted the man got together and then he later on changed up or switched up because
Hmm.
he ran out of answers.
Hmm.
So if you break that guy down, how was he raised?
Hmm. Okay, right. Now that is the vetting process that you're right. A father should have. You know what I'm saying? Who raised you? Where were you raised? Where do you come from? Do
Because
you have both parents? You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff, right?
correct,
Hmm.
because like if we're gonna say, well, how does it happen? Well, let's deconstruct it like a crime scene. Treat it like Law and Order SVU. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. Let's backtrack. Why did he flake?
Okay. Okay.
And,
All right.
and if he flaked, was it because of infidelity on her part?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say it wasn't. Let's just say she was A1 top to bottom.
Right.
She had a father and everything. I
Right.
guarantee you, if you did a little bit more research, and you probably will after this,
Mm-hmm.
find out how that guy was raised. But in this scenario, when the guy flakes in that situation and
Mm-hmm.
she did all of the right things, there's probably some holes in his mental life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Okay.
believe like fidelity is I think a lack of control over your nature is what makes you sexually undisciplined. Okay.
Right. Right.
Um, if you have communication issues, if you have an inability to uh, be objective, this is about having objectivity.
Mm-hmm.
The person that's always the victim, always getting done wrong, that's the
Mm-hmm.
person that normally disengages and takes the other way out. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And in this situation, yeah, you're gonna have some guys they're gonna be chameleons. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Because it's a lot of men that ain't masculine.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to another user, Facebook user. I don't know, not sure why I don't see your names today. I'll try to fix that for the future
No,
episodes that we're
I
going to have.
think those are the people that's commenting from my Facebook group. That's my man.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Great.
Yeah, that's my man Hassan. Hey, what's up, Teach? Yeah, Teach.
Okay, so he
Teach
says
had the
very
other.
true and
Yeah.
honest. It's a rule of thumb, and it's patterns. Fool her once, I can accept that. But if she has a pattern of bum brothers, that's indicative of her choosing ability. That's true. That's true, Hassan. That's definitely true. I get exactly what you're saying right there. Now, if she has a lot of these bum ass dudes that she's engaging with and having children with, all that stuff, then yes, it is a lack of being able to choose wisely. So I get exactly what you're saying when you say that right there. But like I said, there are those cases where you've had that one woman who messed with this one dude that was terrible, and he ended up being terrible. I'm sorry, he ended up being terrible. She became a single mother, and then after that, she found a good man. You feel
Oh,
what I'm
wait,
saying?
were they married?
They were married, right?
She's not a single mother. She's a divorcee. Okay,
Right. Okay. Okay.
single mother. Let's define that real quick. Single mothers are women that will have a baby before marrying.
Oh, okay. I got you.
With no
I got you.
intention to marry. They just
Okay.
want a baby. They want a baby more than they want the relationship.
Okay. And is that thing that we hear when they say, "Well, I need to keep this man, so I'm gonna go ahead and have a baby," that type of thing right there?
I don't know if it's about keeping the man. I think they want the
Hmm.
baby more than the man. I think it's like if the man want to stay, cool. If he don't, cool. I got my baby.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that there's a group of women out here that just want to have a baby just to have offspring. You know what I'm saying? And they really don't give a damn whether a man stays around or not.
Well, think about it. Let me give you a scenario where that reality is real, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Let's go to dream world for a second, right?
Hmm.
You got um a mother at the top of the family. There's two different models. You know, you got a disciplined and an undisciplined. The
Hmm.
undisciplined model of what I'm talking about stems from the single mother being at the top of the family. So
Okay.
you got the mother, she got her first daughter,
Hmm.
and then her daughter has a daughter.
Hmm.
Now you got what? Three generations of women.
Okay, right. Hmm.
You got a son, right?
That's correct.
Your son meets one of these, meets the woman, the youngest daughter, right?
Hmm.
He wants to marry her.
Hmm.
He comes back and talks to who?
Me.
You gonna look over there and say, "Let me look at the mama. Let me look at the daughter. Son, you could do it, but this is what you might be up against." You're gonna be able to advise him, right?
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
So in that scenario, if he takes that on, he gonna have to be an ultra dominant man
Mm.
because the first time that he has to interact with her family and her parents or and her grandmother, right?
Hmm.
They haven't had any men. So how they gonna treat your son?
Right. Now, that's one thing that I do notice is that when you do have the single mother, and the single grandmother, all those different things, is they don't really give men a fair shake. It's always going to be some type of negativity with it because it was negative to them. You feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because they can
So
all they can parent from is their experience.
exactly. So what happens with that is behind closed doors, they may not say it in front of you as the man that's pursuing their daughter, but behind closed doors, what they will say is they will say, just remember, baby, a man is a man, and he gonna do what he gonna do, and he gonna go out. So just expect what's gonna happen, right? They always say that, and what that does to me, for me, what it does for me, and what it tells me is that when it comes to a woman confiding in her man and having belief in her man, there's going to be a ceiling to that because that grandmother and that mother said that she's always going to have that in the back of her mind. This man is going to cheat. You know what I'm saying? So is she really going to give 100% effort when she in the back of her mind always has, is this man going to cheat?
Especially, and let's throw in the secret sauce,
Mm-hmm.
the break glass in case of emergency advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mama's always right.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's the general rule of thumb, right?
So no matter how good your son's presentation is, when he leaves, everything that you just said prior to me saying that,
Right.
hey, he seems okay, but he might switch up on you.
He might switch up on you. Right,
Save
right,
your
right.
money and get up out of there. You know what I'm
So
saying? So
they're technically fucking up relationships before the relationship even gets started because they're saying crazy shit like that. Because I've heard that come from so many women's mouths. You know what I'm saying? A man gonna be a man. I hate to hear them say it. You know what I'm saying? Because for you to say a man is gonna be a man, you are suggesting that women don't have those capabilities of being that same type of person. You know what I'm saying? Because women do have those capabilities of being that same type of person. I have brothers who did right by their women, providers, protectors, supportive, all these different things. Really, nothing that they really did that was so terrible that warranted the cheating that happened to them. You feel what I'm saying? So it happens both ways,
yeah,
but you don't see black men saying, "Hey, son, just be aware, all women cheat. A
they
woman gonna
don't.
be a woman." We don't say that shit.
No, we tell men it's like, hey, get in there and be the best version of yourself. Don't change who you are. Keep working on yourself. We keep telling them the same thing that got them there,
Okay.
because what got you there is what attracted her.
Right.
Why would you all of a sudden try to be something else
Right.
and,
Hmm.
and then expect your plan to still come to fruition. And that's the other thing too. You're gonna ask your son,
Hmm.
what's your plan?
What's your plan?
How,
Right.
how, how does your individual goal
Right.
coincide with you now being a husband and now being responsible for protecting and providing for this woman? And
Hmm.
this is long before kids even come into the play.
Absolutely.
Because you
Absolutely.
because you're gonna tell him, don't make any kids that you can't take care of.
Got you.
You're not gonna you say, hey, look, if you got problems, because every relationship got problems, son.
Hmm. Hmm. I got you.
You got your problems first,
Right. Right.
because you can't help nobody if you need help.
That's true. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. Shout out to Christopher McClellan. How you doing, brother? From across the table. I
Hey,
see that
what's up,
shout out
Chris?
right there. Yeah, that's one of your peoples. I'm saying. Okay, so we got another Facebook. I can't see that name, but you can.
Let's
Uh,
let's, let's teach all of the faceless stuff. I for right now, Teach is the only one on my stream over
okay.
here. So
Okay.
unless somebody else comes up, I'll make sure we identify. Shout out to
Okay.
Teach, man. Hey, I
Okay.
appreciate you, bro.
Great, great, great. So he says, right, a man gonna be a man, someone who never could keep a man long enough to evaluate that.
Hey, look, and like let me say, hey, let me say something else to go along with.
Cold blooded.
Hey, you you oh, and right there, what up, fellas? That's hey, shout out to Charles Taylor. What's up, man? Hey, like, so let me go put Teacher's comment back up there.
Okay, put teachers pop coming back up. Okay, got you
All
right
right,
here.
someone who could never keep a man. This is 1,000% true for people that fit the behavior.
Right.
Everything that I say is true for people that fit the behavior. We're not talking about all women. We
Hmm.
talking about all men and women that fit the behavior of
That
the
fit the
discussion.
behavior. Right, of course. Right.
Because my problem, the reason I said, hey, I wanted to identify that woman as a divorcee, because a divorcee and a single mother aren't the same thing.
Okay.
Because if I asked you this right here, okay, the woman got divorced, cool, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Who has a better chance of getting remarried? The single mother or the woman that's already been married and divorced?
That's a tough question. So who has a better chance of being getting back in a relationship or getting remarried? The
Yeah, because
single
more
mother
like
or the single?
yeah, because we 40 something, right?
Right, right. Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
all of us got history and experience, and if we want something out of life, we submit to the environment, the circumstances, and our own weaknesses and vulnerabilities, right?
Okay.
All right. So the person that's been divorced that said, hey, I know what I did wrong. I didn't vet the right way.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a better chance at having a more successful outcome the next go around.
Okay. Okay.
So when you think about that, that
Hmm.
still separates the mindset of the undisciplined woman from the disciplined woman. See,
Hmm.
to even get married, you have to have a certain level of discipline. You don't just get lucky and get married.
Okay. I got you. I got you. So all right. So you're breaking down
There's
single
always
mother.
exceptions too. Cause like, hold up, I want to say this too. Nothing's
Okay.
perfect. Nothing's
Right. Right.
absolute.
Right. Right. Right.
I would
Like I said,
say,
this is like you said earlier. This is utopian thinking, right? This is a perfect world.
yeah,
You know
but
what I'm
but
saying?
but the reality is this:
Hmm.
indicators are not absolute, but they're absolutely indicators.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
And
I
this
got
is
you.
about people that fit the behavior. People can change their behavior.
Right, 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 right. Absolutely, absolutely. So like I said, so you're kind of making a difference between a single mother and a divorcee.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think too many divorced women
Mm-hmm.
carry crosses that don't belong to them.
Mm. Okay.
Like, you have a lot of divorced women out here that's calling themselves single mothers,
Right.
but they really adopting the logic of women that follow Sexy Red.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you. I got I got it. Okay. So I got a divorcee, right?
Yeah.
3 kids, by
Uh-huh.
the same man.
Yeah.
They were married for a long time. Her and her husband were married for a long time. So of course he fucked up. That happens a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So not saying that he's not taking care of his responsibilities as far as the sons right now. Of course, monetarily, he's definitely taking care of the responsibility. We're going to talk about that later on, the monetary
Yeah.
versus the mental side.
Yeah.
He's taking care of business when it comes to the monetary side of it. And I see this divorcee, and she's struggling getting another man. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Pretty,
Mm-hmm.
career,
Mm-hmm.
owns her own home. you
Mm-hmm.
know, all the stuff that you're supposed to have
Yep.
as a person that's doing things responsibly
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of her children as well. She's already had a college graduate come out. The next boy is just now entering college, and she's going to have a son that's going to college. I want to say in about 2 more years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she's doing all that not by herself. I would say, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
she has an ex husband that handles that monetarily, right?
Yep.
So that money helps. But like I said, this woman who is a divorcee can't find a good man to remarry.
Mm-hmm.
What's holding that back? Do you think it's kind of like the manosphere telling men not to date women who already have kids?
No, I, I
No. Okay.
I think what it is. Well, I tell you what. If you want to blame the manosphere, it's because you're getting all your information online.
Right. Right. I got you.
Because it's a lot of dudes that's not living what they talking about. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? They just like I think the red pill community
Hmm.
is really just a response to feminism. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I don't call myself red pill and then like that. That's why I created my own brand because like I don't fit into nobody's box, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
But the woman that fits what you're talking about,
Hmm.
I think I go to therapy twice a month, and I
Okay.
have been for about a year now. You know,
Okay.
similar to you, my wife was married 22 years before
Hmm.
she divorced. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Her previous husband,
Okay.
and her kids are fully functional on their own. One of them in college. You know what I'm saying? They're doing her thing. Uh,
Hmm.
so it's not like if I was dating and if I was dating again in my 40s, I
Hmm.
would probably be pursuing a woman that's already been married.
Okay. But does the kid factor, does that weigh on a man's decision whether he's going
Yeah,
to?
yeah, because like the kid fact, like for me, let me tell you what my criteria was, and
Okay.
it always has been. If I
Hmm.
have to date a woman with kids, there's a limit on the kids, and that's relative to your resources and your own mental capacity, because
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, everybody's formatted differently, right?
Okay.
The
Hmm.
next step is that they got to be in high school and on their way out the house.
Can't be no babies.
I don't want no babies. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to change no pampers. I don't want to go to PTA meetings. I don't want to do none of that stuff.
Right. Right. Right.
So a man has to and this is like how women need to vet this because some women gonna get pursued just because they pretty.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And then a man gonna sell them everything. Everybody's going through an interview process with each other. You know what I'm saying? So people
Okay.
so people that flake, they know how to interview very well.
Hmm.
But when you put that Excel spreadsheet in front of them and they lied on their resume about being able to do Excel, it's gonna come out.
Right. It's
And,
eventually gonna come
and
out.
when,
Right.
and when they run out of know-how, skill, or resources, they gonna bail because they say, hey, they nobody will come to us and say, hey, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was
Hmm.
just going with the punches. You was responding to what I was saying,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So that vetting process, right?
That's still part of the vetting process.
Right. Right. So that vetting process that you're speaking of, right there. How long should that be before a woman trusts her body and her mind with this man? How long should that vetting process be?
I think it's relative to the time that they spend together
Hmm.
and what she can get that man to participate in with her
Okay.
to
Hmm.
to interview properly to qualify for the position.
Okay. Okay.
Because like women have to qualify men for sex,
Right. Right. Right.
and men have to qualify women for their resources because women are hypergamous to provision and protection, right?
Right.
Men are hypergamous to respect.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Some men don't know how to respect themselves because they haven't had the men that had the most trouble in respecting themselves are usually men raised by women because everything a man that's raised by a woman vets women by goes through mama's always right.
Right. Right. Right. Why do you feel like men who are raised by single mothers? Why do you feel like they have lack of self respect
I
or
wouldn't say I would say they have a lack of self-respect. What
uh
I'm saying is they have a different version of self-respect.
okay. Tell me
That,
what
that
that version of self respect or what you think that version of self respect is. Break that down for me.
okay, so let's go back to the dream world scenario where we got the single mother household, like what we already talked about the daughter side, right?
Right.
All right, that let's say that same single mother that was raised by like single mothers usually raise single parents.
Right, right, right. Okay.
So we already got to the daughter. The daughter met your son, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna go to the scenario where she has a son that meets your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
How does that young man move is going to be relative to how he was raised.
Okay.
So, what type of behaviors are present in a single mother household in most cases? Think about that. You have to take that into consideration and then put it over there with the son. So, if he's got a sister
Mm-hmm.
that's, I ain't gonna say promiscuous, but very active, you know what I'm saying? Probably,
Right.
with the opposite sex. And he's
Right.
watched his mom deal
Mm-hmm.
with guys in and out. The same mom that says, hey, he's still a man.
Right.
What does she tell her son?
That's a good question. I would think though that if you are a single mother and it hasn't worked out for you as far as getting a man or getting a solid man, I would think that she would be, and we used this word a while ago, right? On the backstage, training her son up to be that man in which she would want, you know what I'm saying, a stand-up righteous man. You would think that's how they would be raising those men. So are you saying in that case they are not raising those boys like that?
I think they're doing it well intended. I just don't think it matches up with reality because you ain't got a man in the process to help you vet that.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
your wife helps you vet what's important to your daughters, right?
Of course.
So if you don't have a man that helps that woman vet what's important to the son, how does he behave?
Right, right.
How does
Okay.
he treat women if he see his mom with different men? How does
Hmm.
he how does he treat women when he sees his sister with certain boys and men? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And he could go a couple different ways. And in most
Hmm.
cases, the most promiscuous men come from the environments with the least amount of supervision.
Hmm. Hmm. So why do you think, okay, so I'm not even gonna say think, we're just gonna say you gave your numbers,
Yep.
you gave your factual information, right?
Yep.
So we're not thinking at this point, we're just
We
saying,
just
okay,
talking about
these,
behavior. We
right,
just
we're just talking about these are the numbers, this is
we,
what it looks like. Why does it seem like the men that are coming out of single family units, raised by single mothers, why does it seem like those men are less sexually disciplined than the men who come out of dual family homes? Or
because
even, or is that even a fact, is the
oh,
question.
it's a truth because your
Okay.
daddy is gonna tell you that you can't fuck them all. Your daddy gonna tell you, hey, you got to take some of them to a hotel. Some of them you got to take, you know what I'm saying? You got to fuck them in the car. Some of them
Hmm.
gonna tell you that you don't bring them home to me. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna tell you to put a condom on. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But
right, I got
there's plenty of women out here that tell their sons to treat the woman like she's above correction.
you.
Give her everything she want, and you'll have the best life ever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Delusional,
That is delusional. That's definitely delusional.
delusional.
Right.
Because in react like this is what I always say too. Can we all accept that the world ain't perfect?
We can all accept the world's not perfect. Correct.
People aren't perfect.
People are not perfect. Correct.
Situations aren't perfect.
Right.
Things cost more than what you expect them to, right?
Hmm.
Then why do we think that we get people that make A1 decisions perfect? You are we expecting you expecting perfection from people that's not born in perfect situations? It's
Right.
crazy.
Right. Right. I got you. I got
So
you.
so and until you have more facts and information, you live in your feelings.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
why
Right.
that's why you get devastated when something don't work out. It's like, man, you've been living in your feelings until
Hmm.
you meet the
Hmm.
facts.
All
You know
right,
what I'm
so
saying?
let's give a shout out to my man Christopher again. He says to answer the question, yes, men and women both are out of order. Anybody, everybody is acting stupid right now. We know,
Shout
brother.
out to Chris. Hey, this stuff makes him angry. Y'all,
Yeah. So yeah. So Chris, I guess I'm gonna call you Chris, bro. You know, I see your name is Christopher. I'm gonna call you Chris. I don't know you personally, or anything like that, but that was the title of the podcast, and you are correct. Everybody seems like everybody's just acting crazy as shit right now, and it just don't make a
mm-hmm.
whole lot of sense. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And the thing is that us as a community, and once again, this is not on Vic's side because Vic, he talks to every race. I'm talking to my specific race, right?
Mhm.
So we're not going to build well as a nation if we don't get this beef under control, and also preach making better family units,
Yep.
like you said, Vic. No one's going to be perfect. There's going to be times where people are going to slip, people are going to do crazy stuff, and shit's going to hit the fan. And unfortunately, the kids, if there are kids in this situation, they're going to suffer the consequences for that. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But yeah, going back to the single mother raising the single son, what were you raised by? Were you raised by both parents or single?
Yeah, I had two parents, man.
Okay.
My mom and dad were married for 42 years before my father passed in 2018.
Uh-huh.
And like I had one sibling, me and my brother, we didn't have any kids. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I've been married a couple of times, and been married 3 times actually. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I was
Hmm.
married in my 20s, married in my 30s, and then
Hmm.
twice in my 40s. So like I had to make whatever corrections I needed to make. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and so like I've had time to sit back and evaluate, like, okay, yeah, the first time around, got it. That first marriage might be a doozy.
Right. 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 Of course. Right.
The
Right.
second one, you do something completely different than you did the first time, and
Hmm.
then if you get the same outcome, then that's something else. Third
Right.
time, same thing, different outcome, but you keep making improvements. The only thing that you
Right.
can grade yourself by is that did you fall off, and did you get better, and what did you do to correct yourself? This is
Hmm.
about being able to correct yourself. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And
And
this
you
is
see, and you
go
see,
ahead,
not to interrupt what you're saying,
go
but
ahead, go ahead,
you
go ahead, go
see,
ahead.
so you said this is your fourth marriage, right?
Right.
Okay, and you would say on this fourth marriage you got it right, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. So that's three marriages before this fourth one
Right.
that it took to get Vic where he is today with this marriage.
Hmm.
So I say that to say this: when it comes to women, that baby factor is there. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because what's the saying? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. And it don't mean that that baby might not be his. It also means that daddy technically ain't got to stick around. Dad can
For
pack
sure.
up and get the fuck on out. You know what I'm
That
saying? But
so true.
mama got to stay there. So they don't have that luxury, Vic. They don't have a luxury of four marriages. You feel what I'm saying? They really
Yep.
don't have that luxury, unfortunately. So you
This is
know,
why women have to vet harder than men
right,
do.
right. That's
That,
exactly what
that's
I'm hearing.
exactly what that's what I'm saying. The vetting
Yeah.
process is important for both men and women for completely different reasons.
Is this why us men, when we're raising daughters, why we're much harder on our girls to make sure that they are dating the right person? Is that the reason why we do that? Because we know that they bring forth children.
Yeah, because do you want to be changing your do you want to have your grandchild and your daughter or your son underneath your roof when they're supposed to be self-sufficient and able to take care of their own business?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, today's world,
I
uh,
I'm just saying, look, no, take finances out of it. We talking about
right,
utopia, ideal situation. You don't raise your kids to raise their grandkids. You know what I'm saying? To raise your grandkids. Like
right.
that's why they tell you, like, if you spoil your children, you're gonna raise your grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta put them, you know what I'm saying? You gotta arrest um, you know what I'm saying, the worst case scenario for your child first, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because you already seen what it looked like when you don't have committed, you know what I'm saying, parents when you got children involved, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Why would you set your children up for failure like that? See, that's the thing. As a parent, one of the things you got to do is be an honest broker.
Okay.
Like a lot, like there's a stage I believe that you have to go from being that nurturing, micromanaging parent when you got kids. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You got small kids. You turn your back, they doing whatever they want to do, right?
That is correct. Yeah,
And
potentially hurting themselves.
intentionally hurting themselves. And then so
Right.
you micromanage. Then they get to
Right.
a point where they know better. Then you just said, hey, your son was down there playing video games. You ask him to do X, Y, and Z. Then you still got to micromanage a little bit, but you got trust because you've trained him to
Hmm.
to be, you know what I'm saying, responsive to what, you know what I'm saying, his parents say do, right?
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
after that, you have to transition out of that into a more of a mentoring capacity because
Hmm.
when he in his 20s
Hmm.
do what I say do, ain't gonna fly very far. They can be like, hey man, fuck my parents. I do what I want to do. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
Whereas like so because you have to humanize yourself as you go along in this process.
Hmm.
A lot of parents, They either don't have the skills to humanize themselves in front of their kids,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes parenting comes with trauma. And
Right.
a
Right.
lot of parents, you know what I'm saying, by the time their kids are grown, they've dealt with all of their kids' bullshit and still
Right.
had to love them all the way through it, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how ignorant, you know what I'm saying, the decisions they made. So guess what you need to go do before you become a better mentor to your kids? You got to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
You
got
got
you.
to learn. You got to learn how to forgive stuff. You got to learn how to ask for forgiveness because you may have to do some things to your kids that they might not understand. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You might have to hurt their feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's better you hurt their feelings because the reality is this for men specifically.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't listen to your parents,
Mm-hmm.
if well-meaning parents, you're gonna end up being told what to do by another man in a uniform that's gonna tell you when to go to bed.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because the consequences of like you said earlier, the consequences of like I said earlier, the consequences for not vetting is different for men and women. You know what I'm saying? Similar turmoil, but completely different circumstances, right?
Right. Right.
The
Right.
man can lose his freedom and his money because I believe that um I believe that the legal system is set up to buck break men, and
Okay.
and like that's evidenced in the child support, the litigation that like think about how quickly you know what I'm saying you could be in the wrong situation. I post those paternity court and Maury clips to show men, hey, if you don't vet properly, this is the situation that you in. I don't say you know what I'm saying like all women are trash. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying that if you vet wrong, this is what happens.
Right.
So
Right.
you don't know what you're looking at until it's too late. I did a show. I did a 3-part series called the sexual discipline template,
Mm-hmm.
sexual attraction template,
Mm-hmm.
and basically quantifies everything that we're talking about in this discussion, which is why I'm able to answer these questions because like it's not just man and woman walking around here like, oh, she's pretty and I'm gonna jump on her, or he's attractive and she just wants to jump on him.
Right.
There's has to be attraction there, but what's attracting you to that person to
Right.
take these chances with this person that you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't take with somebody else that's probably equally attractive? What
Mm-hmm.
makes people look at the right person and then choose the wrong option?
Right, right. I've always had that question. What makes people look at the right option, but what right person, but choose the wrong option? So when kind of studying this from a biological level,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I tend to see that most bad men or men that aren't the men that women need to choose,
Undisciplined men.
undisciplined men, are very much when it comes to biologically alpha men. I see that on a whole lot of occasions. Do you agree with that or no?
Depends on what your definition of alpha is.
Okay,
Because
alpha man is a person that actually, yes, they go after it. They protect very well. They're very uh they're the types of people that can pretty much fight very well. That they're pretty much the people that can provide very well. Those type of people. However, they don't have any sexual discipline. That's the only thing that they lack. Everything else is there, but the sexual discipline just is not there. You
well,
feel
if they don't have any sexual discipline, they can't be alpha.
me? Okay, break that down.
If you can't control your nature, you're not alpha.
Okay, all right, all right.
If you're not accountable, I don't give a damn how alpha you think you are. If you don't have discipline, you don't have accountability.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people be
Okay.
talking about accountability and they don't have no discipline. So they just
Right.
perform it and just repeating words.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you can't if you can't you'll play dominoes.
Yeah, I play dominoes, but I just I want to kind of get into that, right? Okay, you just said you can't be an alpha if you're not sexually disciplined, right?
That's
And
correct.
so this is what I talk about when I talk to my brothers and sisters and everybody else pretty much when we say a word or a statement or or terminology, right? We have to know the definition of that term or of that word, right? So when we say alpha, you added a characteristic to alpha that does not exist, right? Because if you look at the definition of alpha, matter of fact, let me do it.
Mhm.
All right, just a second here. Let me bring it up. Okay, define alpha male. So a man tending to assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situations. So there's nothing in that definition stating anything about sexual discipline. You know what I'm saying? It's a dominating man or a domineering man, which does have a certain look. That's a certain profile. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so women who see that look and see that profile and see that dominating man or domineering man, I'm gonna give you an example. I was over my cousin's house maybe a couple months ago, and there was my other cousin there who is a dominating, domineering man, right?
Mhm.
And he was pursuing a woman in that household, right? A single woman in that household. I saw through his dominance and his dominating personality completely break down this woman's common sense, Vic. You feel what I'm saying? I've seen it with my own eyes, and this is not the first time my cousins did this. I've
Mhm.
seen him do this on multiple occasions. His domineering personality completely, I'm talking about, destroys a woman's, like, just her common sense. It's like I saw it. Me and my wife saw it, and my wife was like, "Oh shit, he's really about to get this girl right here." My wife goes in there and tells the girl, "Hey, look, this man is a whore. You need to leave him alone." And look, she still pursued him, even after being told that. This is what I'm talking about. Alpha males, Vic.
That's
That's
not
the definition of an alpha male, brother.
no. That's no, no. Let me tell you. See that's where I don't agree. And
So you
and
disagree with the definition, with the
I,
formal definition? Okay.
I would say when it comes down to like what's alpha and what's not,
Mm-hmm.
just because he can, like present himself in a way where women would find him interesting enough to go forward with him, that
Right.
don't make him alpha. That don't mean he can lead. That's the same scenario like you was just describing when the dude checked out on the other relationship.
Right. Correct.
He might get in it and then check out because
Mm-hmm.
he only got so he might only be able to pass the interview. He know how to get the job.
Okay. Hey, I can dig that. I can dig what you're saying. So
Yeah,
basically, what he did is he has this dominating or domineering personality, and pretty much he's perfected that act. Is what you're
deliberate.
saying? That's an act.
He got a really good resume,
He's got
really good presentation. He
a.
know how to perform, but
He knows how to perform.
he don't have discipline, so he don't have any accountability.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Like some people confuse responsibility with accountability. You
Right.
can
Right.
have,
Right.
like, for instance, let me give you an idea, right?
Hmm.
You could take a promiscuous man and woman,
Hmm.
and they all can pay all of their bills, take care of everything that their own financial and foundational needs, even if they got kids.
Hmm.
And the minute that they have the wrong connection with somebody, they done made a kid with the wrong person again.
Hmm.
Because they
Hmm.
out here masquerading, thinking that they the same as everybody else, and you're not. Nobody is the same.
Right. Okay.
Nobody is the same. So women have a silhouette that a man can fit into, and men have a silhouette that a woman fits into.
Hmm.
Do
Hmm.
you know if it's a long term or short term silhouette though?
Right. 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 And
Which
so.
which go back to like scroll back up. Teach had a comment where he said trying to wipe somebody or oh yeah, like he said, depends on what your attraction is. Leaving two, if you want to clap cheeks, it doesn't matter. But for relationship, yes, it does matter from a household with two parents.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that dude that's uber alpha.
Hmm.
Now we got to go into his background and how was he raised? Who raised
Right. Right. Right.
and so like let me give you another
Okay. Hold on. Now let me step in on this. Right.
yeah, go
You
ahead.
just
I'll break
said
it down
who
because I don't
raised
know
them.
where you're
Okay.
going.
So once again, this is my cousin. So who raised them?
Right.
Raised in the suburbs, in with a mother and father who are still married.
Okay. What's the relationship like though? What like
Mhm.
if you didn't grow up in the house, you don't know if his mama runs all over his daddy
True. True.
because that has an impact because like now you got regular direct access because I've seen man, I had this one guy he called on the consult. Let me tell you a story real quick.
Hmm.
Guy called me and he was raised with both parents. His mom died.
Mm-hmm.
and he's a single father right now, and
Mm-hmm.
he ain't never been married. And he questioned me. He said, "Well, Vic, you've been married 4 times." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh," I said, "Well, why you on the phone with me when your daddy live up the street then?"
Mm-hmm.
Because he don't respect his daddy. He worships
Mm-hmm.
his mama because his daddy worshipped his mama.
Okay.
And his daddy got overran by his mama. And I looked up, you know what I'm saying? His mama was very pretty. And it's a lot of men that always chasing it's men out here chasing their wives,
Mm.
trying to get, you know what I'm saying, cooperation from a woman that is really just running the house off of her emotions.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
now
Right.
you're gonna produce emotional children. You're gonna
Okay.
produce children that have a different perception of what a man is supposed to be.
Okay.
If your kids was watching you get ran all over the place by your wife, your daughter or your son is gonna have a different perception about what they supposed to do as a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I said this ain't 100% across the board.
Right. Right. Right.
Human beings are very fickle. There's a
Right.
difference between men that's raised with their father in the house, or not knowing their father at all,
Right.
or having a father they know who he is and he living in
Right.
some other household and they only see him, you know what I'm saying, intermittently. We're that fickle, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So just like if you got children that's raised without mothers, they missing an affection component. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 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 Absolutely.
They got TV shows dedicated to this stuff. And if you really want to see what a household looks like when it's ran by a single mother, just look at reality TV.
Mm. Mm.
Do
Okay.
you think
Okay.
reality TV is formatted off of two-parent households?
No, it's not formatted off a two-parent house. And actually, that was another question I was going to ask you. You know what I'm saying? Being that you had two parents, right? And
Yeah.
you came from a two-parent house. You're a product of a two-parent household, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get your information of how a single parent household is being ran?
Uh,
Because you didn't personally see it. So where do you get that information on how that's ran?
well, I kind of did see it because like
Okay.
both sides of my so my dad's side of the family had he had 9 other siblings. He had seven. He had 7 other brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, yes. He was one of 10, so he had 7 brothers and no 6 brothers and no 7. Yeah, 6 brothers and 3 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then on my mom's side, my mom was the oldest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she was, raised by a single parent, but she knew who her father was.
Mm-hmm.
So that allowed her to have a better connection with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because you got an actual representation of that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have something to compare it to, and I'm kind of sitting in the middle because I'm the oldest grandson on both sides of my family.
Okay.
So I can see who raised kids, who had families, and I can see who didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've been married multiple times because something in me attracts women that want to be wives. You know what I'm saying? Just like
Mm-hmm.
I know I was meant to be a husband. So I own that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I look at women in that space, in that silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't raised in a place that gives you a silhouette of what a spouse is supposed to look like, and you know what I'm saying, and what a provider and what the role of a provider is, you know what I'm saying, because that's just part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of men that like to say, I'm a provider and I pay everything. That don't mean that you alpha.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean you have the other emotional components. That don't make you a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Because like think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Name an animal that reproduces without sex. A
Uh,
mammal. A mammal. Okay. So you can't grade people solely off of that because we all know how to reproduce with each other, right?
right. Right.
We all know the act at least. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
Discipline is knowing which ones to choose. If animals have discernment,
Mm-hmm.
why don't human beings have better discernment if we can actually talk to each other?
Right. 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 I get you. I get you. I definitely get you on that. And like you said, that vetting process is it's a difficult process, definitely. Because you don't know people's situations. You don't know, if they feel like they're limited in time to find another spouse or anything. Because let's just be honest, when it comes to males and females, right? we think totally different. An old male can still catch a young gazelle. You feel what I'm saying? Or a
I
younger gazelle. You know what I'm saying?
like that.
It's just a fact. You know what I'm
It's just a
saying?
fact. Yeah.
But an older woman, they feel like, well, because my beauty's starting to fade a little bit, I'm not that catch that I once was. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that happened somewhere, I'm going to say in maybe the mid 30s, saying early 40s, stuff like that. Because I've witnessed that myself. I talk to women, and in talking to these women, whether it's my wife or whether it's some of her friend girls or whatever, they have that thought in their minds. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not that catch anymore, so I got to catch something real quick before I lose a lot more of this. You know what I'm saying? So that vetting process will be shortened just off the fact of that. And unfortunately, it's a biological thing because let's just be honest, men are more physically attracted. You know what I'm saying, to women. We're more about the physical. What man do you know says, "Hey Vic, I met this girl the other day. Man, she's amazing. The conversation's amazing. She's down to earth. She's got everything that I need in a woman, but she ugly as shit, man." You ain't never heard no man say that. You know what
Hey
I'm
man.
saying? I'm still gonna mess with it. You ain't never heard a man say that. He's got to
Hey.
be physically attracted in some way.
Well, I don't know. I think I think I think it depends on the man and what his purpose is.
Hmm.
I think if he's aligned with his purpose, he's gonna
Hmm.
choose the options that fit his purpose.
Okay.
You can't be disciplined without a purpose. You just can't be out here like what woman that's disciplined and responsible wants a man that has nothing but superficial needs.
Mm. There's apparently a lot of them out here, brother, that like that.
And who raised them?
Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure if we did
No,
the
no, who
numbers,
raised them?
I said I'm pretty sure if we did the numbers, what I'm
No,
saying,
no, no,
that'd
no.
be a
You
good
gotta
that'd be a good a
you
good
gotta say
percentage.
it. You got to say it. You got to say it.
I
Don't
got
don't
to say
don't
it.
don't you got to say it. Don't walk me all the way up there. And then you don't say it when I'm walking you to it. You know what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying?
I
Because
got you.
because we got to call it what it is. If you're talking about we out of order, then what order should we be in?
Understood. Understood.
And if we
I get what
can't
you're saying.
diagnose the problem, and if we can criticize it, right,
Right,
then we ought to be able to offer a solution to it.
right,
And maybe we can't fix it, but we need to identify the problem in order to solve it, right?
right. Absolutely.
You if you
Absolutely.
walked in the house and the house was hot, you don't check the thermostat. Are you gonna go to the are you gonna go turn the stove on to cool the house off, or you
No.
gonna go to the thermostat?
Go to the thermostat, get that
All right,
AC rolling.
yeah.
Right, right,
If your feet hurt and you walking on gravel and you don't know why your feet hurt,
right, right.
you're gonna retrace your steps. And
Right,
then you're
right,
gonna put
right,
some
right,
shoes
right.
on and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I got over that part. It's the same thing.
Right. And men and women share that. Women will date a man even though they are the shit as far as everything as far as everything goes as a woman. She's the shit. I'm talking about financial. I'm talking about all these different things. She'll choose a bad man, for some odd reason. But also on the flip side, a man would do the same thing. I know very highly successful men that will choose a bad woman over a good woman. You know
And
what I'm saying?
generally speaking, there's an absence in leadership where
Hmm.
there isn't a man, or the man is not a leader that
Hmm.
raised those particular people. Because the same people we talk about that choose poorly, they
Mhm.
usually come from the same coochie.
Mm, mm.
Because if we talking about the impact of what this whole conversation is really about, the impact of fatherhood,
Right. Okay.
and we're out of order when we don't have fatherhood as part of the community situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the whole point of this conversation is the
How
importance of that.
how
Right.
how safe is your community without sexual discipline?
It's not. It's way out of order because it's not. Right.
Okay, so if we don't have any sexual discipline, why don't we have any sexual discipline?
And that's the question that I have for you. Why don't we have the sexual discipline even from a single mother raising a young male? Why is she not teaching her son to have sexual discipline?
Because they are raising children through their own trauma. That's why I said they got to, when that transition period where you go from being a micromanaging parent to a
Mhm.
parent to a
Mhm.
mentor, you have to go to therapy.
Mm. Okay.
because otherwise you're going to end up only parenting and mentoring from your own experience.
Your
You
own
don't have
trauma.
your own trauma. You don't have
Hmm.
any other basis, which goes back to what you say. Hey, he might switch up on you, right?
Right, right, right.
That's parenting from your experience. You're not even like they don't even understand how like in that scenario. Go back to that, right?
Hmm.
What they're really doing is saying that you don't know what you're doing as a father.
Okay.
What they're really saying is that your wife don't know what she's doing in terms of identifying a woman for your son.
Hmm.
They're questioning your parenting.
Hmm.
You should be aware. I ain't necessarily not necessarily taking offense, but like if you're aware to, you're like, well, why would they say something like that? Let's just say your son in that situation, he overhears that and doesn't say anything. Got the discipline enough to be like, they said he might switch up on you. And it said right in front of him. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Then you say, hey son, how was your visit over there? And you know what I'm saying, how they doing? Yeah, it was all good until they said, I might switch up on. It's like, Dad, I'm not trying to do that. And
Right.
then you're gonna be sitting back like, why would they say something like that? Because I didn't raise you're gonna be like, I didn't raise my son to be inconsistent.
Right, right, right,
Especially
right.
when he already came and asked you, you know what I'm saying, for your blessing and your approval, or in so many words, or just sought out your advice.
Hmm.
And then you'll be like, go ahead, son, because you're gonna be like, I raised him to get to this point to be able to make this decision, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
then he go over there and they come back. Now he got him second guessing himself right away.
Second guess himself right away. So though that phrase that they use or that statement that they use hurts us and hurts our community like crazy, bro. It really does, man. And I've heard it from so many different women. You know what I'm saying? I've heard it from so many different women. Yeah, he seems like a good man, but you got to remember, a man gonna be a man.
Yep.
And like I said, you put a ceiling on everything by saying that. So realistically, that's one thing as a culture that we have to get rid of is stop saying stupid shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Which goes back to like in my book, rule number 2, no unhealthy competition.
Okay, break it down.
Avoiding unhealthy competition is really easy. You gotta well, like think about it. When you go to work, or anybody that's worked, all of us have had a job at some point. We had to work with people we don't like,
Hmm.
and they don't cross your desk and you don't cross theirs, right?
Right.
You do your job, I do mine. We go home at the end of the day, keep my name out your mouth, whatever.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
that is the boundary to avoid unhealthy competition.
Hmm.
Arguing and unproductive, you know what I'm saying, discussions are the most, avoidable thing. They're easy to avoid. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But if you have discipline, because you already know what your limitations are with somebody, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Hmm.
You can't, man, look, social media proves that. Man, I don't have to argue with you and prove my points. I don't have to come to your platform to disagree with you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to come to my platform to disagree with me.
That's right. Correct.
So it's a choice about what you choose to engage in. And that's what discipline is.
Hmm.
Discipline that keeps you from doing that, because you could be right to a fault.
Hmm.
You remember when Kevin Samuels used to talk about the need to be right? People have a
Right.
dangerous need to be right.
Yeah, that is true. That definitely
It,
is
it,
true.
and it takes discipline to not engage with somebody that don't care about a solution.
Right. Okay.
So number one, unhealthy competitions are not conducive to solving a problem.
Okay.
Some people bring problems to every solution, and men supposed to bring solutions to every problem.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what makes you alpha.
Okay. Okay.
That's
So
why I
that's the
said,
reason why you said, you don't believe in arguing with a woman.
nope.
That okay. So when you say that you don't believe in arguing with a woman, are you saying that she needs to state her problem, and from there that man needs to figure out the solution to that problem?
She need to understand why she feel the way she feel first.
Okay.
That's a personal journey.
Okay.
That's why I said
All
go to
right.
therapy.
Mhm.
Like if I had a problem with you, we just wouldn't talk.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be nothing to talk about. When men got issues with each other, we don't talk,
Right, right, right. Right.
because there's always a threat of violence.
Mhm.
There's always a threat of somebody gonna take it way further than the other person thought they were gonna do. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
But
So in your marriage right now, right?
mhm.
You and your wife don't argue, is that correct?
No, we've had some disagreements and stuff in the past,
Okay.
but we've also had enough experience in previous marriage to be like, you know what? We got to find out a better way to get the other person to understand why we don't have an answer. See, like a lot of times, man, women want answers right then and there.
That's correct. Yeah.
And they want the answer in the same situation that they experiencing the issue in.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you give them the answer that's right, what's the chance that message is going to be applied, absorbed, and you know what I'm saying, and implemented immediately?
Right.
Okay.
I have to, and see, that's the reason why, on another one of these discussions with you, we have to implement a woman on this panel,
Yeah.
because the question I have for women, and maybe some woman is watching this right now and she can actually respond in the comments so we can kind of see it. Why is it so hard for women to argue rationally and logically? What's going on with that? Like, I just don't understand that.
And that's the part where I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Hmm.
part where I say I ain't finna argue with you. Go to therapy and ask the therapist why you can't accept somebody else's reality.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
Everybody else can tell you no, and you accept it.
Right.
But
Right.
when I tell you I don't give a fuck, you got a problem with it.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, I'm, especially, I'm the same age as the people you say yes to every day.
Right. Right. I get it. I get it. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. It's just like I said, I just
I
don't
don't even
get
have
it.
to say. I
So
don't even have to say shut up. I don't have to do none
yeah.
of that. I don't have to
Yeah.
say anything. I'm like, well, I go to therapy for that same reason. Like, you
Hmm.
know why I go to therapy? I go to
Hmm.
therapy to unscramble my emotions when it's surrounded about producing something creative.
Okay.
Because I believe I have enough skills, communication wise, and enough, you know what I'm saying, commitment to my relationship to
Hmm.
be able to sit back and be an audience to my wife sometimes,
Hmm.
and also I take notes when if we have a problem with something, like, you know, when you see people talking and they trying to hash out a problem and they
Hmm.
start over talking each other.
Hmm.
I'm a writer, so like I got a different set of techniques and skills that I do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Break them down.
So the same logic that I just said when I said,
Hmm.
hey, they can go to work and listen to somebody tell them no every day, right?
All day, every day. Right.
All day, every day, and never get what they want. Go to work,
Hmm.
same job, 10 years, and say, Bill won't fucking promote me, won't give me no raise, but I'm still going in tomorrow, even though I hate this place. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So if you put that on the man side, like I've worked in capacities where I had to shut up and take notes, you know what I'm saying, while
Hmm.
other people in the room, so I could, you know what I'm saying, solve their problem. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
I'm an intelligence analyst by trade.
Hmm.
So like I take in information and I synthesize it to what makes sense to me, so I can say back to you to let you know I was actively listening and paying attention. And instead of over talking each other, I take the lead on that, and I just over talk in my notes. She on some bullshit. He got me fucked up.
Right.
and and I get that out. I don't say it though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
He is delusional. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But in the moment, she just got to get it out, and that's fine. But see, this is
Hmm.
why men supposed to have thick skin. You're supposed
Hmm.
to be able to take that in, right? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Take in that level of intimate criticism, and then ultimately you go to bed. You look at the notes that you wrote down, and then you realize like this ain't about what I'm saying. This is about how she's absorbing it.
Right. Right. Right.
That's a personal problem because see,
Right.
here's the reality. You have to, as a man, you have to take everybody's shit. That's why your skin is so thick.
Hmm.
That's a
Hmm.
bar. Write that down too. And so where do you dump off all of your, you know what I'm saying, confusion?
Right.
Men have to go to therapy if they in a relationship to be better. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
But the things that require how you process what somebody's telling you, that is a personal thing. It's not what I said, it's how you taking it.
Right. 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 Right.
If
Right.
if if we go 29 days of being lovey-dovey, and then on day 30, every month, something happens. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That throws it out of proportion. Well,
Hmm.
what was going on the other 29 days?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then when you look at that, you like, you need to go talk to somebody. Because see, this is the thing. Men have plenty of networks where like I could call you and be like, hey, what's going on, Kevin? You know what I'm saying? I got this type of situation. And even then I might even talk directly about the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I might be thinking through it because we multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? We always working with something in our subconscious. Then how many times you gone to bed and woke up
Mm-hmm.
like, bing, I know what the answer is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that answer might be, it just comes to you because it's never not being, you know what I'm saying, solved as a man. Like your whole life is you taking in, synthesizing information, putting piece here, piece there. Your childhood pop up, the thing that you want to accomplish pops up, the thing you got to happen, the thing that you got to do in the course of your day, the week, the month. Because men look at a calendar in 3-4 month increments. We grade ourselves off of, man, this was a pretty good last 6 months. You know what I'm saying? But if you plan, but a woman's emotions in comparison to a man is much shorter term. You looking at 6 months, she's looking at week to week, day to day. You know what I'm saying, moment to moment.
Yeah, and I do notice that. You know what I'm saying? I do notice that. Is that a biological difference between men and women?
Yeah, everything that we got a problem with is just in our nature at this
It's
point.
coded. It's coded and can't be
Yeah,
helped.
I don't even call it problems anymore. I just say, no, this is just the way that she thinks, and it's just the way
Right,
that I
right,
think.
right.
You know what
So,
I'm
like you
saying?
said, coded in DNA, nothing can be done about it. It just is what it is. And this is why you say it's important not to argue because
Yeah,
you're just not going to see eye to eye. You're not going to solve anything. You're not going to get any solution. So
nope.
at the end of the day, take your notebook out, write this chick crazy as hell,
Yep.
and
For real.
right,
Put it in your notes, document it, especially if you have a significant moment. And then the
right.
next time the significant moment comes up, flip back in your diary, flip back in
Hmm.
your notes. You be like, oh, like you ain't just write down what happened. Also, give yourself an assessment. Say, this is why I think this is happening. And then when you vet that, and then you wait, you gotta have some patience. You take discipline, okay? Then the next time something come up, you take notes again because you probably already like, here we go again. She delusional again. She ain't open to hearing what I'm saying. She the one she got the problem. Well, she's voicing her concern this time. You might not have had an issue because you like, dog, the last 6 months has been great.
Right, right.
But you go back and look at your notes because you got to take notes when you're looking at things from a leadership perspective.
Hmm.
Your notes are going to be relative to the leadership, so you gotta be able to evaluate your communication skills because, like, you know how people say miscommunication. I look at it like this: Are you misinterpreting or are you miscommunicating?
Ah, okay, okay.
Because if you're misinterpreting, you're probably using more emotions than logic.
Right, right, right,
When you don't understand something, that's usually your feelings trying to solve the problem.
right. And that don't work.
Because I'm telling you, bro, up until this point today,
Hmm.
um, everybody had feelings about like for instance, right? As far as my content is concerned, because that's what we could talk about tangibly. People
Hmm.
have mixed emotions about what my content represents, right?
Hmm.
That's based on what they fucking feel.
Hmm.
It ain't based on this conversation. And
Hmm.
today I'm giving them more context about the facts of what I'm saying. Because have I said anything that was unrealistic?
I don't think you said anything unrealistic today.
Okay,
Not
all
not
right.
talking about.
Have I said anything that hasn't been uh, mirrored anywhere else that you've been in life, professionally or personally?
Yeah, right,
It's all completely relatable, right?
right.
So up until that time, all you got is feelings about what I'm saying. Now I'm giving you
Hmm.
the facts of how I think from the horse's mouth.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in general, until you have an understanding about something, all you got is feelings.
Hmm. Okay, okay. All right, all right. So the next question I have for you is when it comes to nation building, and we're not even talking about race at this
Yeah.
point. We're just talking about nation building and the need of men and women to procreate, and also men and women to rear children together. You gave me a solution about what the man needs to do, as far as how to improve situations and everything. You kind of gave me a solution, not the whole solution because there's a lot to the solution, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But as far as like women, how important is it for women to fix themselves, as far as like how we're doing, through whether it's therapy or doing research on ourselves, whatever we're doing. How important is it for women to do the same thing? Because we have to honestly be honest with ourselves when it comes to both genders. We have to work together. We
Yep.
definitely have to work together. So I see in some of your posts you post men as providers, or however you put it, men as providers. You're correct. Men are supposed to be providers, but also women are supposed to be providers. And do you agree or don't agree with that?
Define what provider is for a woman.
Okay. So, well, here's the thing. The word provide or provider is not gender based. We have to understand that. Like I said, once again, we have a problem sometimes in our community and other communities with using a word but not knowing the proper definition of what that word is. So when we say provide, that is a person who provides something, right? Or a provider, a person that is providing something, someone who is taking something, making it into something tangible, right? Okay, so that's a provider. So we say provider. As soon as we say provider, we say, okay, only a person that's making a certain type of money can be a provider. Thing is this, Vic, if you're making $100,000 or $150,000 or $500,000 a year, okay, you're providing financial stability for your family. That is correct, right? But also, your wife might not be making $100,000 to $500,000. She may be making 30 to 40 to $50,000, but your wife is taking care of the kids. She is also providing, because at the end of the day, by taking care of those kids, she is taking care of your offspring, and she is rearing your offspring. Because if you're working a job, or you have a career, you have a business that is making from anything anywhere between $100,000 to $500,000, you're not going to have time to rear your kids. You get what I'm saying? You're going to be in an office, or you're going to be in front of a computer, or you're going to be constantly working is what you're going to be doing. So let's say if you don't have that other side of providing from a woman, providing you with rearing your kids and making sure your kids are okay. If you don't have that other side and all you're thinking about is the financial side, Vic, this shit ain't gonna work. Your kids aren't gonna survive. They can't survive just off your sheer salary, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's not how this works. How many people do you know? Let's take Tony Dungy, for example, and not ragging on Tony Dungy or anything
yeah.
like
Give
that,
me an
but
example. I like examples because
okay, I'm gonna give you an example. So
yeah.
let's take Tony Dungy, right?
Hmm.
Tony Dungy is what we would call a great provider, because Tony Dungy for a long time never made anything less than $2 million on his contracts, right? Tony Dungy lost his son to suicide. You
I
feel what I'm
remember.
saying?
Hmm.
So what was missing there? How demanding was that head coaching job? And if you ever saw when not Jerry Jones, but Jimmy Johnson from the Dallas Cowboys, if you ever saw him accept his Hall of Fame nomination, right? And he told you at that point, this is a demanding 24/7 job. Like, you got to constantly be going at this shit. So Tony Dungy provided for his children and his wife and his family very well, but he provided a financial need. But somewhere that mental need wasn't there, because his daughter didn't kill herself. His
Hmm.
son killed himself. You know what I'm saying? So what was missing there? And not, like I said, not saying anything negative about Tony Dungy, but what I'm saying is a provider, both men and women provide. They just provide totally different things. You feel what I'm saying?
I look at providing. Take away the money.
Okay,
Take
take
away.
away the money.
Take
Okay.
away the money, jobs, and the status.
Okay.
None of that stuff work in your house. And it's the
Hmm.
same complaint that we talk about women when we say, well, you listen to your white boss, but you won't listen to me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Me, like everybody
Mhm.
else is demanding more of you than you able to give to your kids
Right.
in that
Mhm.
situation.
Right.
Providing ain't got nothing to look. Providing has more to do with the image that you provide.
Okay. Break it down a little bit more.
People on like your children are only gonna emulate what you show them.
Right. What they see. Hmm.
So if you ain't around, what you showing them?
You ain't showing them shit because you ain't around.
Why you think these NBA players had their kids at the games?
Right.
Why
They got
you
to see
think
what they're doing.
why you think they bring their families on the road with them?
They got to see what they're doing. Yeah.
That's period, point blank.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like your kids have a day at school where they say bring your daddy to school day or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. How
Mm-hmm.
you think they look if you can't be available for it?
Mm-hmm. I got you. I got you.
So who knows what Tony Dungy's son requested his dad's presence on, and he probably said, "Nah, my dad got a game this weekend. He can't be
Right.
there. The
Right.
season ongoing."
Right.
Like, and that's why you have to vet what you want to do. Like if Tony Dungy, like football is demanded. I don't give a damn if you coaching professional or playing.
Right.
Even at the high school level, even at the little league
It's
level,
very demanding. Right.
it's very demanding. And
Mm-hmm.
then think about it. Tony Dungy didn't just fill out an application on Indeed and say, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna coach."
Right.
He's
Right.
been coaching for 40 years. He's been coaching the length of time that his kid at
Right.
the same age as kids. He was probably
Mm-hmm.
coaching before his kid got here.
Right. Right.
And that's how he got here. But
Mm-hmm.
man, same with Regina King. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like she just lost her son committed suicide. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. True.
And
Very
she's
true.
just now coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To like get back in the public spotlight. You know what I'm saying? And she's gonna have to. I ain't gonna say she has to address anything, but that's
Mm-hmm.
probably part of the thing that she's gonna have to address when she comes back out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a clip of her talking to Jimmy Kimmel, and he was getting emotional, saying, "It's good to see you. Since the passing of your son and stuff."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But and again, money don't cover everything.
Right. Right.
Mo-
Right. Right.
like that's why I
So
say all you
with you
can have.
saying that, with you saying that money doesn't cover everything, should we completely take away the idea of saying that the man is the provider? Because in a reasonable mind, the statement makes no sense.
I think both men, like you said before, I'm gonna capture this in as few words as possible to make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Men and women have an obligation to be complementary providers within a relationship for the outcome of their kids. That's why I
Both
say
providers.
no unhealthy competition. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because like right now, for instance, right, like my wife at work, and I like to call myself the house husband. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like I make the beds, I do all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Because when I was running my Airbnb stuff, guess what I had to do? Scrub
Yeah.
toilets,
Yeah.
make the bed. I was running a hospitality service. Ain't nobody else coming to do it.
Correct. Correct.
I didn't get a wife just so she can go make all the beds. I
Right.
was gonna do that no matter what. So my
Right.
purpose was still aligned with that. It just so happens I had a wife that participates
Mm-hmm.
with me. And that's really the language of a relationship is participation. That's why these
Right.
players bring their kids along. You can't see as a what you provide in a household as a man has to come from leadership. It can't
Mm-hmm.
come from just do as I say and not as I do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has to be uh um it has to be image driven. You know what I'm saying? It has to
Mm-hmm.
be you have to give the kid something to follow. You have to lead by example.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You lead your household or your relationship by example. Like
Absolutely.
there's a particular snack that I'm sure that you like that if
Mm-hmm.
your wife went to the store and even if y'all had a bad day, you gonna know if she still love you or not. She went by the store, she got her little pink Mountain Dew, and
Right.
then she didn't get your favorite ruffle chips, and
Mm-hmm.
then you gonna be like, bitch, oh, that's what it is. Okay,
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying? It be because y'all so synced in that you could tell when you really hit the wrong button, and then you gonna be like, hey, I see you didn't get my chips. We need to talk
Right. 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 Right.
because
Have you been checking out this Fonnie Willis this
I
Fonnie
see
Willis
some
case?
clips on it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Talk
Okay,
to me
so
about
that there's one comment that I just want to talk to you about, and I want to see how you take it, right?
it. Mhm.
So Fonnie Willis, when she was fired up on the stand, she says to the judge, she says, I don't have a man, you don't get a man for a plan, you get a man for a companion. What do you feel about how she said that? Now, thinking of who Fonnie Willis is, we're talking about a woman making over
She
two
a high
hundred
powered
thousand
woman.
dollars a year,
She a
right?
high powered
$1 million
woman.
in the bank, right? High powered woman. So when she says, "I don't get a man for a plan, I get him for a companion," are you with what she said or against what she said?
If that works for her and it don't step on my toes, I don't care.
Okay.
Like she doing what works for her. If you get outcomes are the only thing that speak for what you're saying.
Okay.
People can tell you all day what they want to do, but if they can't get the outcome they want, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is a couple of questions to find that out. And now I know how to disengage. I know how to I know how to avoid getting into philosophical discussions about why I move the way that I move.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people like I'm a veteran and 96 veterans make up 6% of the population.
Okay.
There's 94% of entire demographic of people in this country that do not understand the way that I think.
Okay.
So
Right.
I would be better served to talk to people that ask for my opinion.
Right. 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 Right.
I'm not about to walk around and knock on your door and try to make you understand my way of thinking.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fanny is in a high power position and she's motivated about she's purposeful in what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So what she's saying is what she's had to recognize for herself before she can say it out loud.
Right. Right. Right.
If like the men that get offended by that,
Mm-hmm.
what's like what's demographics? What makes those men that have a
The
problem with it?
demographic of men that got offended by that were actually white Republicans or white conservatives were the ones who got
Yeah.
offended by that
So
actual
so I
comment.
so I care even less.
Right, because it ain't got shit to do with us, right? Right, right.
That's an ego thing.
I was wondering why they made such a big deal about what she said because I was like, I get it. You know what I'm
Who cares?
saying? Right, right. She doesn't have to make this man a plan because she's a made woman. Why would she
Yeah.
have to make a man into a plan? Yes, she's literally getting a man for companionship because financially she doesn't need him. You know what I'm saying?
So like your baseball team hat that you got on,
Yeah,
was
nationals.
the Nationals.
Yeah.
Do you care what the Oakland A's are doing?
I don't give a damn about what the Oakland's doing.
Same thing. Same thing.
Okay.
Fanny plays for Atlanta. Name
Hmm.
a team. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And everybody else that's got a problem with what she's saying, they
Hmm.
play for a different team.
Right.
She don't care.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Right.
you gotta think. I gives a damn what a white woman, what a white man says about. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about a white person's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Relative to what she thinks is formatted from her, because
Right.
number one, they don't want to date her.
No.
They don't
Mm-mm.
want no babies with her.
Mm-mm.
So why they got an opinion?
I don't know. That's like I said. I don't know. I was trying to figure out if it was something that I was missing, and you just validated what I was saying. There's nothing I was missing there. I was like, yeah, that don't make any
It's
sense
a
for
real short
Fox
conversation.
News to keep rewinding that. You feel what I'm saying?
I talk
Yeah.
about. I only look, man. I only talk about stuff I've experienced or seen. I don't talk
Hmm.
about shit that I don't know.
Right, right. I got you. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you. So like I said, we pretty much came to the conclusion here after having a whole lot of this discussion about, the coming together of men and women because like I said, it is important. I'm a person that does not believe that you can fix one side and can't fix the other. You know what I'm saying? You have to fix both sides.
yeah.
If you want to run properly, your left leg can't be healthy and your right leg is broke. That's not going to work. You're not going to run properly. They're going to run with a limp or you're not going to run at all. So both sides have to be fixed, period, point blank. And if we're not willing to do it together, this just ain't going to work out. You know what I'm
No,
saying? And we're going to keep failing and failing and failing. And yes, in some instances, black people are taking off as far as monetarily, or financially. We're taking off when it comes to that. We're getting more money, understood. But I think that black people right now are making money their god, and it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that?
I think undisciplined people lean on money as being part of their resume.
Right, right,
That's
right.
just
It's a
it.
lot of damn undisciplined people out here. Then,
That's the point. Like
right?
like are you familiar with the 80-20 principle?
Yeah, I am.
80% of the problem, well, 80%, 20% of the people, less than 20% of the people cause 80% of the problems, right?
Right. Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
the people that's causing us the most problems are really doing it with like really cheap tactics. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right. Hmm.
And it's easy to produce. Like for instance, like what do you think the easiest way to sabotage someone's reputation?
The easiest way to sabotage a person's reputation is pretty much through propaganda, or and gossip. That's pretty
Well,
much the best way of
well,
doing it.
be more specific though.
Sabotaging the reputation. Let's say like we'll use the Diddy thing right now, right? To sabotage the reputation. Let's say that he didn't do it, right? Or
I,
didn't do any of this stuff.
better question.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me three examples of people that hit the like as far as sabotaging reputation. Give me three people that fit that example that you can call out right now.
That sabotage a situation.
Except three people like you named Diddy, right?
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
we'll use Fanny since she's already in there too for
Okay.
that.
Yeah, Diddy, Fanny, and
Okay,
let's say Kelly, R. Kelly,
okay. All of them have their reputation in question, right?
Right, definitely.
What's the one thing across all three of those that brings their reputation into question?
It ain't just one thing.
No,
It's
no, just
speculation is but the
no,
speculation is one.
pick one. Just
Okay,
pick
okay. I will say the rumor or speculation is one. And I think that's the most impactful because once people start talking, that's when things really start rolling. That's when the train really starts rolling. You know what I'm saying? Because words are very powerful. You know what I'm saying? And if those words are repeated, it's kind of like Adolf Hitler said about propaganda: make something simple, make it very simple, make sure the dumbest person can believe it or understand it. He said, repeat it, and eventually it will be believed.
Okay,
That
good.
is that is the mastermind of propaganda.
All right,
That's what that
cool.
is.
So we got that overarching. So let's go another level deeper.
Right.
What is the nature of the propaganda?
What is the nature of the propaganda?
What is okay? Yeah, what's the nature of the propaganda?
Hmm. Well, I guess just to get gospel started, to get
Now,
some.
now that's the goal.
Okay. What's
Propaganda's
the okay?
goal.
Okay.
What's the nature? What's the foundation of the propaganda?
To achieve a purpose or agenda.
That's the goal. The
Okay.
nature of the
Well, you
propaganda.
need to tell me what the hell the nature is. Then I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
and,
not
and,
getting the question.
and that's my point. I'm asking. The
Yeah.
nature of the propaganda is a lack of sexual discipline is in common between all of them.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
It's
Okay.
it's got to be
I get what you're
founded
saying.
off of
Okay.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cheap to destroy somebody's reputation when they have sexual misconduct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fanny on the stand
For
talking about
sexual misconduct.
R. Kelly locked up for what?
Sexual misconduct.
What is Diddy and TD Jake situation?
Sexual misconduct. So we've been talking about the sexual undiscipline this whole damn episode. So yeah.
Out of book. The link is in.
Put
I'm
it up
trying
to
to
the screen so we can see that book, man.
say,
So this is on Amazon, y'all.
yeah,
So
it's called Accountable
the links
Masculinity.
the links are definitely in
Yeah,
the comments. I want you guys to check these books out. I actually purchased the book. I'm gonna go ahead and read it because I want to know this
yeah,
brother even better than what I know him right now, just off of this one conversation.
yep,
So I definitely encouraging you guys to purchase these books. He's got 3 of them
yep.
on Amazon.
And the first one is well, you mentioned nation
That's the one
building.
I bought right there. I bought the code. Right.
That's the nation building conversation right here.
Okay. Nation building conversation. Okay.
This brings up all of the hard questions that we got to ask that we've been talking about today. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
And then the people that don't
I
like
want you. I
me,
want you to message me in my messenger with that link so I can post it on my personal page and
yeah,
and put it out there. Because at the end of the day, people need to see these type of things and they need to see these books. And like you said, you have a misunderstanding about yourself because people just read a post that you make or the post that you make back to back to back. We talked about me, and you said, "Well,
I'm
Kev,
doing
man,
propaganda.
you are an amazing troll." That's what you. That's what you are. Okay,
I'm
so
doing propaganda. That
right, it technically is. It technically is what it is. You want people to kind of bite on that bait and take that bait and continue to listen more and more and more until they understand exactly what you're saying. Right.
mhm. Yeah,
Right.
because like
Okay.
the only thing you can grade human beings off of is behavior.
Right. Hmm.
You are exploited by your behavior.
Right.
What I just tell you before, if you can't listen to a man at some point in your life, You will eventually listen to one if you keep living.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't act right out here, they got institutions to go house you in if your behavior don't line up, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So your
Absolutely.
behavior is a big deal if the government will invest in it.
Absolutely. No doubt. I ain't denying that.
Yeah,
Not denying that at all.
America's culture is about controlling human beings,
Mm-hmm.
regulating behavior. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
pass laws. That's why we talk about the rule of law, the law of the land, tough on crime. You know what I'm saying? Crime is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about which crimes get the most attention,
Mm.
what are they normally rooted in?
Yeah,
When you look at the propaganda that's in most of our social media feeds, is it not always about conflict between fidelity?
that is correct.
Every story in America, and like not even America, let's just say popular TV programming,
Mm-hmm.
character development comes around. You know what I'm saying? When you start introducing different people to each other. You seen Scarface before?
Of course.
What's the one rule that Scarface had for Manolo?
No kids. No. No, don't mess
That,
with my
that was one up. No, that was
Manolo. Yeah, not to mess with his sister. He couldn't mess with his sister.
what
know.
happened. What
Right.
happened?
Right. He
You know,
shot him at the end. He shot him at the end. Shot and killed him at the end.
you seen Godfather, right?
Right.
What happened when Sonny put hands on his wife?
Yeah, I remember that too. Right.
No arguing with women. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right. Right.
Uh, let's see. We already talked about reality TV. Reality TV pivots off of who's screwing who.
Right. Pretty much. Pretty
Uh,
much.
social media has impacted relationships because people want to see what's going on in your DMs. The fact that we
Right.
talk about DMs is like, what's in your DM? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. 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 Right.
Uh, what else? When it
That's
comes down,
crazy how undisciplined, people being undisciplined in sexual relations, man. It's crazy how it's affecting the world, how it is, bro.
it,
Something so simple. It's not hard to
you know,
suppress at all.
you know what's crazy is that we've been dismissing it because
Hmm.
America's the only country that functions like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Show me a functional society that doesn't care about sexual discipline.
I can't show you one. I can't show you one.
That so how we gonna build our community without sexual discipline? Who benefits the most from accountable masculinity?
Everybody.
All right. Who's the end item recipient? The children.
Yeah. Yeah. Children. Yeah.
Because this ain't about beating your chest. Like accountable masculinity ain't about being alpha, beta, sigma, whatever these other things. If you ain't accountable, you ain't shit.
Hmm.
If you ain't got no discipline, you ain't got no accountability.
Hmm.
That's,
Absolutely.
that's just it. You know.
Absolutely.
So when you look at
I'm gonna chop that up right there. That's a good one right there. There's gonna be a couple of more I'm gonna
yeah,
chop up too.
right. But no, but like it's just that easy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And should you not be more disciplined and more secure in what you're saying? How can you stand on business without no discipline or accountability?
People think they can do it for some
What
odd
business are
reason.
you standing on without discipline or accountability?
Right. Right.
And I'm talking about for your actions, your personal choices, the decisions you make, the things that the things that you know you have as a vice that you keep willingly walking yourself into.
Hmm.
You know what you ain't got no business eating, drinking, or smoking.
Hmm.
If they made all drugs legal today, right?
Hmm.
Are you finna go start doing heroin?
Hell no.
You see what I'm saying? You got to
Hell
understand
no.
that bad relationships are like having bad drugs.
Hmm.
And some people can't stay off the drugs.
That's true.
And like the more desirable, the more attractive that you become as a
Hmm.
man, it
Hmm.
takes that much more discernment. Now, like, I want to make sure I capture this. I'm not saying that you should be approved. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying you got to have better vet. You have to have vetting that matches your discipline
Okay. Okay. I
because
got
your outcomes reflect your discipline and
you. Hmm.
behavior. You can't say I'm a good person and then get caught up in a child pornography scandal. You can't do that.
No. No. Can't do that. Definitely can't do that. No.
Because which goes back to like you know what I'm saying, like rule number 4, legacy and equity. You gonna nobody's perfect. You're gonna make some mistakes, but you gotta have some redeeming efforts
Hmm.
along the way. Meaning like you can. There's some things that's just unforgivable,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Absolutely.
but you can go out there and you can make a mistake as long as you don't take somebody's life in the process or hurt somebody else's loved one. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be okay. You can make a mistake and get back.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I
But if
agree with
you, but if you go out here and you do something reckless because you couldn't control your emotions and your feelings, we're gonna have to evaluate that differently.
you. Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't like the same people that like for instance R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, huge
Mm-hmm.
divide between black people over that. Well, you
Mm-hmm.
know, he did all of this and he did all that. Would you let him watch your kids?
Hell no. Hell no.
So why would you want to be entertained by people that you wouldn't? And I'm not saying I'm not like I
Hey,
understand
hey, what you're saying right there, I get that. Why would you want to be entertained by a piece of shit? You know what I'm saying? And that you know is a piece of shit, or even a culture, because at this point we're seeing that this is a culture.
it's a
You know,
culture.
a
It's,
degenerative culture is what that is. What this is.
look at
Why
all
are
the
we wanting to be entertained by this shit?
and so like going back to the to Diddy, right? The latest and
Yeah.
greatest. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He basically ain't nothing but another Epstein. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
all it is, right?
And but before all of this, all you the most significant things you saw in the news about Diddy
Hmm.
was him trying to buy the Carolina Panthers a few years ago.
Yep.
But now we all in his business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he brought his business out because of who he want to, you know what I'm saying, affiliate himself with. And you can you imagine how crazy that conversation would be right now if J Lo started talking?
Right. Right. Yeah.
What
It'd be
she
real
know?
crazy. Yeah. What does she know?
We see Mace and Cam talking and you know what I'm saying and kikiing all the way around it because think about the stuff that Mason told Cam
Hmm.
that they ain't
Yeah, if
talking about.
Mace dropped it all, it'd be some problems because I know he know a lot of shit. Yeah.
You got to think about who's not talking.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know, come on, man. Like when that Epstein list came out and all them people was on there,
They still ain't released that list. They still ain't released that list. And you
no,
know
that
why
list
and I
is
know
out.
why.
That list is out.
No, that list, that the official Epstein list is
The
still
official,
not out.
okay, got
Yeah,
you.
the official one is
They
still
they,
not
they
out.
released who they wanted to be on it because like
That's it.
they released they gave us a sanitized version of it.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But we'll never know the full details of it. Like
Nah.
even in this book, right? Like I break down a couple of different scenarios to prove my assessment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I use MLK, Malcolm X, General Petraeus, Bill Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
and same way I did with Fanny and you know R. Kelly and Diddy just then, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna break this down for you, right? We, we know the nature of all of the different things I'm talking about. What's the what based on what we're talking about? What can you say about these four different people that I named that you can you know what I'm saying tie this current conversation to?
I need you to repeat that one time. My wife was talking.
Ma- Malcolm X,
Yeah.
Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
Bill Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
David Petraeus.
Okay.
What do you know about them? We're gonna take the same propaganda approach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we had when we were talking about Fanny.
You know that Bill Clinton, of course, was a sexual deviant, and he is a sexual deviant. Okay, so MLK was he's not a sexual deviant, but we do know he cheated on his
He
wife.
was in orgies. The FBI, the
Yeah, he was,
FBI had.
well, yeah,
You got to
yeah,
think about rats in the '60s, okay?
right, 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 right,
The rat was next to you. They ain't had no camera phone or nothing.
right, 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 exactly. Yeah, yeah. So
Whatever they
hey,
said,
that's another subject off of all of what we're talking today that we could talk about because I'm
yeah.
currently reading a book right now about that whole
When you
situation.
finish the book, we'll definitely have that
Right, right.
conversation.
So at the end of the day, like, so Malcolm X now, even CIA and FBI said they couldn't find anything on him. You know what I'm saying? He was completely clean.
Good
You know what
job.
I'm saying?
Keep going. Keep going.
So now Petraeus, what do we have on Petraeus?
Petraeus was involved in an affair with his secretary as the CIA, as the head of the CIA.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
All right. The reason I'm glad that you stopped at the Malcolm piece.
Hmm.
Um, um, That's ideal. The FBI and the CIA couldn't find it on Malcolm. They said basically he was a saint.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
they exploit the NOI though?
Through Elijah Muhammad doing what he did.
What was he doing?
He was having sex with multiple women who he was not married to and underage women, from my understanding.
And that's exactly what the CIA and the FBI exploited.
Right. Sexual undiscipline. All right, people, we're going to wrap this up. It's been an hour and 50 minutes. So at the end of the day, we're gonna wrap it up. It's been an hour and 50 minutes. I gotta get to my wife, pay her some attention, cook some dinner, and do all that good stuff. So once again, this is Victor. Go ahead, Vic, if you got something else to say.
Hey, I just wanted to say I don't miss clip that. The other thing I wanted to say is that purchase the book on Amazon, follow my content on social media, check out my podcast on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And Sundays. Tomorrow we're doing the social contract, and the social contract is basically, this is a social contract. What you and I are sharing right here. Anytime we have a conversation where we trade ideas, perspectives, and we let each other talk, and you know what I'm saying, and allow ourselves to be educated. This is about us putting our ego to the side and you know what I'm saying, and gaining more information from other people's perspective. I started a social contract because, like, in my own research, in my own journey, I see the biggest disconnect between men is between different age groups. You know,
Okay.
Generally speaking, most men are going to agree about most of the same things until we get to certain points.
Right.
And so, like, I'm exploring that as my next project, I guess you could say, my next line of research.
Okay.
But generally speaking, there's only two mindsets: you're either disciplined or undisciplined. You know what I'm saying? And that's determined by your outcomes. You know, so you can only have the relationships that your character and behavior can afford, and that has nothing to do with money. So with that being said, that's what accountable masculinity is all about. And I greatly appreciate the opportunity to speak on this platform. And look, I want to do this, you know what I'm saying, as often as it makes sense.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying, to the audience and my people that follow my content on, you know what I'm saying, on social media, I appreciate y'all. And you know what I'm saying, I'll be with you shortly.
Okay. And for the people who are followers of mine and who definitely follow my content, you guys check out Vic and his podcast. It's on YouTube. If you would, Vic, go ahead and send a link on the comments over here so people can click on that and subscribe if they're still here with us. But like I said, he's on YouTube. He's also on Facebook. He's definitely a presence to be felt. And hey, we all need to support each other when it comes to this thing right here, because, you know, there are things out here that need to be fixed, and we're going to work on it. We're going to work on it with logic. We're going to work on it. We're not going to come on here and talk about anything emotional or anything like that. It's all going to be as factual as it possibly can be. And we're going to fix some things. And this man right here, he's got some solutions. Those 3 books, look at those links, click those links. Hey, if you got the dough, go ahead and get them.
Yep.
All right, we out.
Solutions only, baby.
All right, brother. Have a good one, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
You can't put that up there. What you said we were showing.